Hello and welcome to another video. Today I would like to review a game I played today. Sadly, I was going to actually make it a point of view video and then review after the game as well, what I think of the game. But for some reason, my OBS didn't capture that, so I guess we're only getting a replay today. Oh well, it is what it is, right? So I do want to mention before we start though that Evelynn currently has a bug, apparently, where when you're in the fog of war, the enemies can still hear your spells. So if you're either close to them and using spells or they pan their camera over, they can actually hear. So quite annoying. Either way though, so if we get into the game, right, we're playing with these comps. So Camille, Tristana, Kaisa, and Nami. We have quite a vulnerable bot side and quite a snowbally top lane, right? So the question then is, like, do we want to like snowball and try to get it with Camille, or do we want to like stabilize the map and make the game easier for ourselves? Personally, I chose to start on red buff as that is what I am preferring, let's say, because these people could still be annoying for me when they're like really fed, but I don't really care about like Urgot. He's an HP stacker and I don't think the temp is that good. And also I think that a kill or two after Urgot gets ahead can still make Camille do really well into him. And especially I don't care about like an HP stacker against Camille. Like, I don't really mind that too much. We're playing against Conqueror Khazix, so most likely he's going to go some kind of a Shojin, Gore Drinker, Black Cleaver, and so on setup, right? So we got some information here on the Khazix that he started on the red buff, which is pretty good to know. And I did the spoiler one because I couldn't really be bothered with like some kind of stupid invade by I don't know, like Zoe. The Zoe support players, you have to be careful because sometimes these people will just roam around the map the whole game, like level 1 gank top lane, level 1 gank at your red buff, and so on. Don't really want to get invaded by like Zoe Urgot or Zoe Khazix or Zoe Khazix Urgot or whatever. So prefer not to do that. Not a big fan of Raptor starts myself. Not sure, maybe I just have to like practice them more and learn the variations better, but doesn't really tend to be that good for me. So we see here in bot lane that there was a fist fight and everyone used all of their sums, which means that the bot lane is going to be quite vulnerable for everyone, right? So it should be interesting somewhat. We look at mid lane, right? Tristana, no energy Akali, no W, right? There's a Tristana with W, like nothing's really gonna happen here. Even if Kha'Zix tries to 3-camp gank this, nothing's gonna happen. So you don't really need to ping your laner that like Kha'Zix could be here, because if you ping them, they might like start playing like way too safe, right? But there's no reason to do that. We want the Tristana to be playing aggressive, because if the Tristana plays aggressive and Kha'Zix somehow gets baited into actually thinking that this is a play, then he might waste his time and we can get a tempo advantage for no reason. Camille though is doing some trading. I want to mention as well that we could do like 3-camp top or something, because Camille has like some CC and setup and whatever, right? But she takes Q level 2 for, I guess, okay. And this guy is just chilling. But we do have an issue where if we do go 3-camp top lane, right? Kha'Zix could, one, also show up here, and if they play it slow enough, they can just counter this. And also keep in mind, I am playing First Strike and just trying the rune page out, like seeing if I like it. Usually I don't like it because I end up losing out on power early game, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But then, I mean, both in games where it goes like fine for you and bad for your teammates, and in games where it goes like well for you, like and your teammates, it feels like really amazing to have First Strike. But in games where it goes like pretty bad for you, it can feel like either good or bad. I don't know, kind of weird. But yeah, not too much to say here really, other than that. So we go through our whole clear, right? At this point, based on just the timings alone, right? Like, okay, so he started red buff, we know that, right? He didn't show up bot side yet, or well, bot lane yet. He hasn't ganked mid, and he hasn't like shown up top. We pretty much know he's committed to a full clear at this point, right? Unless he like misread the map, didn't realize I started red, and decided to try to like 3-camp invade my red, right? But that's really unlikely, because this isn't really like a high elo account, obviously, right? but this account is still playing in, I think, like let's say, I think my last games have been like mid-high diamond, something like that. Not really low elo, but kind of low elo. Say it like that. I mean, depends who you ask, right? Anyway, though, so we see this plant being popped, which means that Zoe was right there just now, and that means that MF isn't going to crash, right? In time, which is pretty chill. Nami also did a really nice ward here. Like, these pink wards are really nice. Both of my bot laners actually bought a pink ward, which is really impressive. Honestly, not many times you see that. I'm not really sure if Kaisa should have bought one, as I don't know, I don't really like delaying my spikes on ADC at all, but the support buying one is fine. You can buy one before your mythic, that's okay. Just don't buy too many. Like if you buy more than 2 wards or control wards, as like Nami for example, before you get like your first item, whether that be mandate or that be your mythic or whatever people go at the time, right? That is pretty bad. So this ward in general though is quite useful, and if you're playing in a decently high elo, then you should like think about investing into a pink ward quite early on as jungle and getting a pink ward either in this bush or in like this bush, and it'll give you quite a decent amount of value across your games. But anyway though, we go here to bot lane, and unless Zoe really warded like on the way while walking, which doesn't really look like it, right? Because if you look where she came from, right? So if we look how she shows up, right? She shows up from here. So we're thinking that she probably walked like here. And since she was walking somewhere here, it's likely that this could be warded, right? But this isn't. If we look in the end, it was not even warded there. But that's quite likely, right? For that to be warded. So we play in this bush, and really it's just a quick cover. You have to keep in mind as well that a play that Khazix could have as well here is if he thinks that there is no play here for whatever reason, right? Then he could very easily also just base and run bot lane, right? And if he bases and runs bot lane, whether that be after 5 or 6 camps or whatever he decides to do, like whatever he decides to do, right? He could show up here before this wave crashes if they contest it, and that could end up in him doing something. I really think it's very unlikely though for him to be here at this timing at like 3:30, because that would mean that he did only 5 camps, then he based and he went here, and that would be really, really bizarre. So we're thinking that if he does do that, then he would be here at like, I don't know, 4 minutes or something usually, realistically, or 3:50. So for now we're chilling, and then he walks up, my Kaisa baits by like walking into bubbles, so okay, we get a kill, chill. So here, it's important to note though, in this situation, you're looking at top, right? And top got solo killed now, okay? Mid has a bad wave, right? But this is all like fine. Like my Tristana's like obviously blundering her lane. We can also like look at that real quick in a bit, why that is. But if top lane were to be in a worse state where like right now it's slow pushing away from her, or it's already frozen, right? You can't really afford to do the scuttle, because while it's nice to scuttle, you get some gold, some XP, like you don't really want to give Khazix both of the scuttles, right? I mean, yeah, that's true, but you're going to lose more gold here, because if your top laner dies, which they likely will, this is going to be a minus 300 for you, because the Khazix is going to get 300, you're not getting this 300, so minus 300 for you. This is a minus 200 for you, because here you do get 100 gold if you get this, and yet you don't, so you lose 100 gold, and then Khazix gets 100 gold, which means that you're also in a 100 deficit, right? So that's like a 200 gold value play, but this is just higher value. And also if we account for your top laner's value, where he's losing waves, he's losing like the XP, the gold, whatever, pretty bad. Okay, so let's explain why this is a blunder. So very simply, Tristana should first of all not even be like really incomparable HP values with Akali, but she's just blundering, as you can see her trades. And then she decides to push this, even though Akali is gonna have a pretty hard time pushing this out, especially with no W. I don't really see why she pushes this, and she's even Eing the wave. Pretty interesting. She's thinking that she wants to like push this and reset. Honestly, though, Akali here can just hold the wave and force the Tristana to base and TP most likely. She decides to reset the wave, which would also be fine. Also an okay idea. I mean, honestly, anything Akali does here could be like okay. There's obviously a best play, but anything Akali does here could be okay. She could hold it, and she could just like try to manage that and then base, and that could be like okay. She could just instantly clear it away like she did, and then have it reset here. That could be okay. And she could also let it crash into the tower, and that could also be okay. The reason being because if she crashes, or well, if she lets it crash into the tower, the next wave will also come into the tower, which means that it'll push away. And then when this pushes away, right, she can just try to kill it. If the Tristana TPs, then she also bases and TPs, and she tries to push out the wave, and then she gets a roam timer. If the Tristana does not TP, then she can try to push out the wave, and then she can try to get a free base as well. So pretty chill. In the case of a neutral lane though, like when she instantly clears the wave, right, then she can do the same thing that Tristana does, either base TP or base and not TP, right? So here I will say Tristana also has like both of the options now, because now Akali blundered, right? So now what Akali ends up doing is she ends up resetting the wave, but then she ends up trying to push it anyway, which is a pretty big blunder. It would be a huge blunder if she has Ignite. People do this with Ignite oftentimes, and when they do this with Ignite, it's like losing their own lane instantly, pretty much. But the issue is that she's not going to push this out in time. Tristana's actually going to be able to contest it, so preferably not like this, which is another blunder. But okay. The issue is that now Tristana has full control of the wave, and it's going to be pretty difficult to get into the tower. And even after your base TP, you're going to be in a vulnerable spot, right? If you do base TP. The reason I don't really like the TP from Tristana though is because you can just let it crash, right? You're not really going to lose much because Akali crashes so slowly. And then I think you should at least have enough time, right? So like she gets to base now, and if she just started walking. She does need to heal quite a bit though. Alright. I mean, she just started walking, I think should be okay. Likely. Though in general this whole sequence is quite questionable. But yeah, this is like the worst case scenario that could happen. Like right after TPing you die. Quite questionable. quite questionable. Though what ends up happening is if you end up getting a base off where you base and you get back to the lane, right? In Tristana's case, right? So you come to this crashed wave, you clear this, you clear the next wave, and then you get a free roam timer as well on top of that, and you saved your TP, and most likely the enemy laner does have to TP, right? Because by the time they crash this, right, when you come back and you just insta crash the next wave, right, they're probably gonna lose something. I mean, they might not have to TP, but whatever, really. You can also just TP and then they have to TP because you're gonna clear the wave and you clear maybe the next, I don't know, whatever, and then you roam. Either way, both of these mid laners could do quite a bit better, but obviously, yeah, no. So as you can see, you do have quite a few ways to play a certain lane state, right? I mean, obviously one of them is going to be better than the other ones, and it's not going to have as many counters, and it's not going to be as punishable. But there are quite a few ways that you can play anyway. So at this point, there are quite a few reasons for me to go towards mid lane, rather than going straight to my Krugs, right? A lot of junglers will go straight to their Krugs and autopilot this, but firstly, I can collect this mid wave here. Secondly, if the Kha'Zix goes for plates, I can deny him that. And thirdly, most likely, the Kha'Zix will try to use his timing to like sneak away my camp, because while I do Krugs, he could perhaps sneak away my Raptors, right? We find this, he jumps away, okay, good. So he doesn't have jump now, so I'm thinking like, okay, I mean, maybe he goes here, but I don't really see why he would insta go here as a no jump Kha'Zix, really? My Camille is also blundering though, as she could already crash, but as you can see, she is doing something. I don't know what the fuck she's doing, but it's something for sure. If she just hit the wave, she would have already pushed it. I don't think this guy can really contest it too much. They're probably like, yeah, even now. Like the next wave should be the crash wave, right? Like the way you play lane is you stack your waves oftentimes, and then you will insta try to crash the next wave, but as you can see, she's not doing that, so she's making a mistake here. Yeah, I trade this, and then I see like, okay, well, my top laner is making a mistake, obviously in laning. He even sees the Kha'Zix here and walks into him, which would be a massive chunk, by the way, if the Kha'Zix had E, and I really doubt that she noticed that I took his E. It's really interesting. So when she sees this, like, honestly, it should just be an E here and just get away, or I suppose she could just walk away as well, but definitely not this. Definitely not that. But yeah. So at this point, I'm like thinking, okay, well, Kha'Zix could try to gank her, I suppose, but she should be aware of that, right? So there's no way that she walks up to the wave or that she walks up on this side of the lane. So I'll just finish my Krugs and I'll go there. I could stop doing my Krugs, but I don't really feel like it for a laner who has been blundering to sacrifice what I have. But as you can see, Kha'Zix is blundering quite heavily as well, as he got a kill, he got all of that stuff, right? But he still hasn't based. So he has no items, he's overstaying on the map, and I have 850 gold here and 350 gold here. As you can see, I have 55 AP from this, which is quite a lot of damage. So this was already quite good. They chunked her, and they should have just backed off and been happy with this, honestly. I think there's any way she really dies. But Kha'Zix decides to overchase this, so since he really wants to try to kill this, which he wouldn't kill, by the way. I mean, you really doubt he would kill it? I mean, maybe. I mean, I guess he could like go in, Q, and then flash out. This is really ambitious, though. That is really ambitious. I don't think he would, though. No, he wouldn't, because she's healing her potion as well. Anyway, though. They overcommit, right? So I just flash on them. I miss my Q somehow. Well played to me. I missed my Q again, by the way. Somehow, well played to me. So I lose a shit ton of damage, but we're still hard winning this. And the only reason really I play a bit defensive is because I'm not sure if he's gonna try to like trade kill with me somehow, right? So yeah, bit of a mistake. I mean, a big part of why we don't kill both though is firstly because I have first strike, so I don't have the electric extra damage, and secondly because I missed my Qs. But yeah, in hindsight, if I just kept chasing, I can kill him as well, but I mean, that's what it is, right? And he just gets away, literally. Now, this 1 HP Kha'Zix that really needs a base, right? He probably should be basing right now, right? If he's a normal human being. But obviously this guy is not known to be normal. And he's doing this. So I'm aware that he probably can do this, and I'm thinking, okay, well, Worst case scenario, my Camille will trade kill with her E if I somehow don't get him, right? But realistically, I will bait this. Probably shouldn't have altered this, should have let my passive heal me up more, actually. Then I would for sure win it. But yeah, so I'm trying to bait it, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll ward over this wall, and I guess I'll Q it, I don't know. I see he's here, but then I Q too late. Right? So I end up queuing too late, and I queue here. But if I queued when he's still here, then I actually can kill him. But also my Camille should just walk up here. I should have pinged her though, right? And like I should type it and ping it, right? And also I could let my passive heal slightly more. But yeah. Even with this, it's not so bad for me. It's like, okay, happens. It really should have been a trade kill, if anything, like even if he does get a kill, but whatever. Let's say a happy little accident, right? Now we're thinking, okay, Khazix must be basing now, because he's losing so much if he doesn't base. Like, he will clear the camps extremely slowly, he's extremely low HP. So I will now play bot side, and I'll see what I can do here, because he should also be basing and like running towards bot side as well. This should be the play. Technically, since my bot lane can base, I could also just run straight to the scuttle, and I could then look for, I don't know, top lane gank if that's what I want to do, or I could look for, I don't know, something, whatever the fuck I'm looking for. I could look for his top side camps as well while he does the dragon. But you might have gotten alerted by what was just happening, and yeah, I won't say. So I do these two camps, right? The Grump and the Wolves. I also have the option of going red then. I have the option of red or dragon or whatever then. And I have some time before these people really need me. I could also go for a bot lane gank while this guy is like pushing this out. But as I said, Khazix could very easily be here. So a bit of a problem for me if I overforce on this, right? So I find the Zoe here, and a little trick for champions like these, where you need to dodge one skill shot. When you find them like this, you walk right into them and try to stay as close to them as possible, because then it's really hard for them to hit their skill shot. Because it's like, okay, well, right now it's like pretty simple, right? Just go here. But then I E her, and I'm walking like inner, right? So then she now has to throw it here. But I could also have gone like here. I could also like go like straight through her, right? And she actually ends up missing her E. And then I don't know. I think at this point that she must have gone over this wall. I avoid this. Nope. Okay. I'm guessing she's not trying to escape that way then. So she must be like either going like this or going like this. But if she goes like this, I don't know. Will I really catch up to it? And is it even worth it? I don't know. She decides to try to escape like this because obviously she has no vision, and if she face checks me on a corner, she will just die. So, okay, I guess free kill for me, I don't know, I suppose. When Tristana kills this, and this is a really good sign for me to look for Khazix on like, I don't know, like red, for example, right? Because red isn't that long since spawning, he probably should have done it by now, since as we said, he probably had to go bot side after basing and buying his items, right? And could be done, but there's no real harm in checking anyway. Like, if I just check this raptor camp, I'll be pretty sure as to what has been happening, kind of, right? Like, if this is gone, there isn't much of a point in checking red buff. He's probably going like somewhere topside. I can do dragon, and he might try to take my topside, maybe. Probably ping a mill to check it after like that previous wave. Okay, now like she could go run to Krugs or something, right? Run to red, like check it real quick for me, if she's a nice guy. But we see the raptors, and then I'm like, okay, well, then he's either on red or Krugs or what. So then, okay, red is also up. Really weird at this point. I'm like, okay, well then he must be on Krugs, maybe? Then it doesn't seem that he's playing Krugs. I see him here. So at this point, you might have guessed that Khazix has been blundering quite a lot again, so he decided to do his topside camps and the scuttle before basing. And if you want to see his vision on the scuttle when he did it, yeah, not sure about the scuttle, buddy. Like, going to the scuttle with 300 HP, no items, with no clue where Tristana is? She's just in fog? With no vision? No clue where it... Yeah, I'm not sure about this one, buddy, but Buddy Boy decided to do it. Buddy Boy did it, and Buddy Boy survived it. Good for him, I guess. He gets found on the threat buff, though, so at this point I can either try to 1v1 him, though we do have a small issue in that his blunder actually makes him much harder to kill now because I have 900 gold in my inventory, and he actually has no gold because he just spent it, and he gets a decent amount tanky from these items. So he starts clearing, right? But he has no mid laner, he has no bot lane, right? He's legit solo on the map here. So if Kai'Sa hits W, he will be revealed, and it should be pretty much a free kill for us. But he is in this bush, and yet my Nami walks up to this bush, so she's actually in vision at some point. Like now, see? So because she is in vision, the Khazix is like, oh, well shit. They're doing something. Let me hide. Kite's W hits the red buff, which means the Khazix can actually go invis. He fails his jump, which means he would be instantly dead. If he didn't fail his jump, he would still be quite fucked if he tried to contest his red buff, because to get over this wall, he would need to walk somewhere here. But yeah. Now Kai'Sa gets hit by a bubble, which is unfortunate. I get the red buff, and then my Tristana and Kai'Sa are making sure to stick as close as possible to me, despite them not being the melee type of champion like me. So that Zoe can hit as many people as possible with the Q. And the Nami decides to use heal, but on me, the Kha'Zix actually gets something. And the Zoe has a lot of sums to use. And eventually, enemy team actually ends up coming out ahead in this fight. Which is pretty crazy. I should have already ulted here, but I don't know. I was not really too happy with the way my team chose to play. Not really too happy at all, but yeah. Can happen, I suppose. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, well, that was a bit messed up. Not really the biggest fan of that, but it's okay, can happen. We're still fine. And then the Zoe's trying to clear this wave real fucking hard. She's even taking the damage. And then she's Ian, like, that's a bit much, no? Because the thing is, if the Zoe was like in her wave, it's hard for me to Q her, that's chill. It also becomes much easier for her to E me, so I probably wouldn't go for this then. I would wait for my Nami, then I would maybe go for this if my Nami played it good, if they played it bad, whatever. But that's why I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. Happens. The Kha'Zix is not happy, despite us already determining that pretty much everything after the first mid lane gank has been a blunder by Kha'Zix, but we don't talk about that, I guess. So then I do blue buff to give my bot lane time to push other waves, right? So first of all, they need to collect this wave, which is in the tower. Okay. And then they would quite like to collect the next wave as the enemy support is dead and the enemy MF had no mana. So the next wave should be collected right now. Then the MF will either stay with no mana under tower and clear that while we do dragon. So we just get a pretty good timing there. Or she's going to just give up this wave, right? Either way, quite good for us. Should be pretty free as well, as my bot lane should not be too late after clearing this wave, as Kai'Sa has static shift, so she one-shots the wave. For some reason they decided not to do that, even though that's what I've been playing around, but okay, that's fine. Mid lane also pushed out, so it'd be a free dragon. And at this point, everyone is thinking, okay, Khazix must be on Herald, because if he's not, that's quite a big blunder. Quite a massive blunder, actually. Camille at this point should check my red side just to make sure that he doesn't do my red side before Herald. I should ping it though. As you can hear in the replay. Maybe Khazix also has this bug where you can hear. I don't know, maybe many champs have this bug. Because as you can see, like, we're hearing this, even though I have Fog of War turned on. I don't know. Maybe this is just a replay bug though. Because the Evelynn one is in actual games. I don't know if the Khazix one is actual games. So Camille comes back to lane and she's clearing this. And I'm thinking, okay, well, Khazix hasn't done Herald yet. So I don't know. I guess he must have done like some of my red side at least. I guess. Probably all of it. Then I fuck up this because I misposition and actually give her an escape. As you can see, right? So there is no reason for me to go into her. I should always just... The max I should ever walk up to is here, because then she will ult into this wall and I can still reach her. Honestly though, I should just stay like on this side, so that if she presses ult, she will end up in my tower. But yeah, I mess up for like a slight moment where she gets an actual good angle, and that is enough. Though this is quite good with the way I position here, because if she now tries to ult towards her tower, right? I mean, she can like do it like this, I suppose. And that probably would work, honestly. Maybe. But if she tries to ult towards her tower, right? I'll reach her with my Q, I think. Honestly though, I should have accepted I made a mistake and just flash out with her, because it would kill, but... yeah. I decided to keep chasing this because I'm thinking, well, if he took my red side, right, and he's not on Herald right now, which I just saw, right? Because otherwise he should be on Herald. Then he must be clearing like all of his camps, right? I don't really see what else he would be doing. So, okay. Thinking then, okay, well, I'll wait like a little bit, and surely he must be clearing his bot side by now. So, I guess I'll just flash ult this. Why not? I get a kill, and I think that's fine for me. And here I could walk like this as well if I expect Khazix to be topside at all, but I really don't. Especially because I have Camille who can just E if he tries to do anything, so I'm not really sure about this. This play does not really seem too good by Khazix, as if he commits to this, my Camille can walk here into river, and she can already E from here over the wall, because I can hug this wall for her to protect me, and that gives her time to just walk alongside this, and the Khazix can't actually kill me. The Camille is not coming, so I try to run for a bit. I'm like thinking, okay, well, who's gonna come? My top, my mid? My top is not interested in coming at all. And he wasted his E on some pointless trade where the Urgot, I think his E was like on a 1 second cooldown at the time or something. And you already know this Camille is not tracking it, so it's just eat for fun. Because if he E's her E, I'm pretty sure she will just lose the trade as well, so I don't know, just some interesting stuff. Tristana's hitting the plate, I mean, busy. Understandable, I don't really think Tristana should be the one coming, I think she should be Camille, but yeah. My Camille is not really too interested in helping me this game. So, could say a small mistake by me, I don't know though, honestly. Like, if we look at Khazix's gameplay, you can't really predict this because it's just really bad. Like when we were doing Dragon, he decides to do red buff, okay, I mean, sure, I guess. And he decides to go to Scuttle. And then he's looking for a mid gank for some reason. Even though the wave's reset and she's obviously basing, so that just shows he is a little bit clueless. Then he walks into top lane bush and just sits here, I think. Oh no, he goes like that. He's like thinking, okay, I will go here. Like what? I guess he wants to counter gank my gank on Urgot. But then he's like walking down and sitting in this bush when he saw that I chase Akali. He's just sitting here. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's just robot activity. Don't really approve of this gameplay. By the way though, it's not too bad as Akali has no TP and my Tristana can just push. Tristana decides to base. You might think she's afraid of Khazix, but Khazix has no ult and no flash. And we know that he should be on the Herald, so there isn't really a reason to be afraid. Tristana could have taken at least one more plate. And the mid lane tower should basically be gone with that, so yeah, no. That's fine. At this point we're thinking, okay, well, top lane needs to push out, so I mean, he doesn't really need to push out, but he decided he wants to push out. Don't think he needed to push out at the start, but yeah. He needs to make a slow push in base, which is an interesting idea, I guess, and he TPs back to lane, I guess. It's gonna hover him if he did want to push out, but yeah. Nothing into bot though, so bot lane at the moment is hitting the tower, and they're obviously going to base now, right? They've been on the map for a while, kind of low on mana, HP even now, so time to base. Tristana can just chill. I don't know what Khazix is trying to do, but okay. I could probably go for the MF here already, honestly. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Though we do have an issue with that, right? Where Zoe could be like baiting me, and MF could have like all the sums. So the reason Zoe could be baiting me is because she could be sitting here somewhere with a pink ward or something. So she knows she's not on vision, and when I actually go on MF, right? Like, she's hugging this side, right? So if I go on MF and she exhausts me and runs away, right? And I chase after her, what ends up happening is that the Zoe can just bubble me, and if I get bubbled, I will actually die to MF. Unless I ult it, obviously. But I would quite like to wait for my bot lane. Maybe I should have gone, I'm not sure. But after I saw the Zoe, I was like, okay, well, now I'm pretty sure they don't know what I'm doing, because if they did, I don't really think she would leave MF alone. I guess I need to just push and go on her, but sadly I missed my Q, and then my rocket belt doesn't hit her, and she has 515 movement speed. And 477 now after flash. I think she had 515 before flash. So my Nami does the NPC play, aka walk into Zoe and Khazix when we know that Khazix is bot side. It was even pinged by people, but yeah. You don't really need to tunnel vision on these types of things though. Like, I mean, here obviously, like, maybe you could do something because the Khazix misplays and jumps to tower for no reason, even though the laners killed the Kai'Sa. But you don't really need to force that, right? Like, you can just go mid. This guy's low, he used Shroud, okay. Free kill, cool. And free tower. Towers are huge. Like, towers in League are huge because towers give a lot of gold, right? Like, if we look at how much gold I got, even though I split this with the Tristana, right? I'm 5,800 right now. 5,850. Well, that's a kill. Right? I just got a kill for no reason. That's pretty chill. I like it. Then we know Kha'Zix has Herald, so he will spawn in bot, and I can also go like contest this so I don't take too many plates, right? At the same time, also Kha'Zix has been shown to be a bit of an NPC that sits in bushes, so likely to be in a bush. The Herald gold, or well, the plate gold even shows exactly where he is, so I just queue him in the bush. Have to avoid the bubble. If I don't dodge the bubble, I might have to like consider ulting it or walking away, depending on how it's really looking and what my Tristana does. This should honestly be like really free for us though. Kill them, really free, really chill. Akali TP's mid, but I mean, they're blaming Akali for this, but Akali has no ult, I believe. She TP'd mid to collect the wave, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they are playing bot lane, but this is not winning for them. Even if Akali TP's there, it's not winning for them. Akali has no ult, as I said. And Akali with no ult against a few champions with ults, it's going to be an interesting idea. Personally, if I was a Kali, I would not TP on this either, and I, as a laner, am a decent amount better in the elo, so I'm gonna be honest, enemy team expecting a Kali to TP is a bit delusional in my opinion. The space, not ideal though. But she does kill me. I will say though, this champion's damage is a bit special. 300. Like this, the spell does like same damage as an ult. 120 plus 280, that's like a rank 2 spell is doing 400 damage. Are you seeing this? A rank 2 spell is doing 400 damage. My ultimate with the execute does 600 damage. My ultimate. And that's like a lot of the power budget of my champion. And I'm fed. Like Dark Seal, stacks, wood stacks, Rocket Belt, 173 AP. She has a decent amount less AP. Honestly, if she had my AP, maybe it would do 500 damage. So pretty impressive. Don't really mind though that she killed me. I think this is fine. Like it's whatever really. She will have no ult now for Dragon Fight, which is honestly kind of an advantage to me. I mean, also I can't give a shutdown to the people I'm actually worried about, which is no one, because I think this game is a wrap. Because they lost the first tower, they lost every dragon, they lost the tower here. We're really too fed in every lane, and I am also too fed, and they're also playing, for some reason, Titanic, Hydra, Urgot, just making sure that me and Camille like have as easy of a time with him as possible, playing Gore Drinker into either Shojin or Black Cleaver Khazix, also making sure that we have as easy of a time as possible. And then even these people are playing some builds that aren't really a problem for us, so really non-problematic. We get the dragon for free. These people can do whatever they want, I don't really care. I really want to clear now. If I clear right now, I will be quite huge. As you can see, I am currently same farm as Kha'Zix, but I have a full clear to do. Camille does get dove, but that just sucks for her, it is what it is. Sometimes you just have to clear. At this point, I would like to clear everything, and I would get level 11 against level 9 on Kha'Zix, which would be, well played Kha'Zix, I guess. Good job, bro. You did it. But I see some stuff is happening in bot lane, and I'm like, okay. Maybe I should go help my laner, but then I'm already committed to walking. And I see these people are like staying, so someone's gonna take this wave, so I guess I'll just kill them then. So we just collect some kills, I guess. My Q is really not on point this game though. And again, I haven't played Evelynn in a bit, so I especially avoided playing in this patch since the bug became known, so now we get our Rabadons, and I think pink wards are really good, but you should only get like maybe one before your mythic you can get if you're playing against some champ that can invade you, for example. Even Kha'Zix, but more so even like Graves, Nidalee, stuff like that, right? Can invade you, so you place a pink either in this bush or in this bush, and you can get immense value from it. Don't buy more than one though. Never ever buy more than one before your mythic. So then after your mythic, you should buy another one. Like on the base where you get your mythic, if you have enough gold, you just buy a pink. If you don't have enough gold, you can buy one on the next base or something. And then after you finish your next item, which should be Rabadons, then you can buy another one. And realistically, you really just want to have a mythic every time you want to have a, I mean, you would love to have a mythic every time an objective spawns, but you want a pink ward every time an objective spawns. And that should give you a good amount of control over vision. At this point, I'm going to do this camp first, mostly because my bot lane is pushing up here. So this allows me to cover them as well as possible, so be as close to them as possible. Doesn't look like anything's happening, so we will keep clearing. If I clear everything, I get level 12 almost. Where did I get like 0 XP from that last camp? What? Bro, what is this XP? Bro, that's pathetic. Jungle, by the way. That is really fucking pathetic. Holy shit. So we saw Zoe. I think she saw me as well. So we go here. I use this pink void like this just so it's more playable. I would like to contest this Herald because it gives quite a lot of gold, especially with the bounties being up. I see that Tristan and Akali are fighting here. Yeah. Anyway, let's not look at that. But since they went 1-for-1 and no one showed up there, we can assume that most of the enemy team should be topside. Or pretty much everyone in the enemy team should be topside. So here I have some pretty good chance they can follow up. Camille, Kaisa. So go for this. I'll just go for a safe charm. We get the free kill. Chilling. I usually save my rocket belt these days quite a lot if I can. So I can use it for damage at the end of the combo. I can use it to dodge like a spell. So I don't know, you can use it to dodge like a Zoe bubble or Q or I don't know, Kali or whatever, right? Either by using it away from the enemy or using it into the enemy even. Like the thing that I told you before, right? Where you hug into the enemy, right? And imagine if then, right? I also use rocket belt through them, so I end up on the other side. Then I get movement speed because I use the rocket belt at them and the damage. And then I just run around them. It's very hard to hit a spell on that in melee. And then Kaisa almost gets caught, but not quite. She does get caught because she doesn't walk away from the Khazix, who, I don't know, gets a kill, I guess. So we can see though, we are quite ahead. I actually have the most gold in the game, which is pretty chill. And now, quite obviously, Scuttle, Herald. My Camille is taking their camps, which is very nice. I could also take their camps, but I would prefer not to do that right now, as I would like to end the game pretty soon. So it's easier if my top laner does that and I do something else. Obviously, though, a lot of the time your laners are not taking enemy camps, so then you should just take them and then you can do Herald. With my ult being up, honestly, taking them would be really simple, but also, the thing is, if I take these camps, right, and then I take the Herald, then I miss out on, like, these, which is, like, a pretty obvious timer as well. Like, it's pretty obvious that if I go here, when all of these camps are up, and the red is spawning, like, someone will be here, either Kha'Zix or the other laners. We see this guy used bubble already, right? So I just go on a Kali Chunker. She ends up not dying. I mean, I guess. Not as impressive damage as we thought. She does have 55 MR. Oh. From higher level. I mean, yeah, it's not executional, but this is fine anyway. If you look at how much gold I got, 200. I basically got a kill anyway, right? This is why I do like First Strike though. I don't really need to kill the enemies, especially when they have like HP stackers like this thing, Urgot, or something like a Scion, or even like Bruiser Kha'Zix or something, right? Like these things are just kind of free gold for me on First Strike. So it doesn't really matter though if they die, as if I chunk her to 1 HP, she's basically out of the fight, and if other people get chunked, that's like even better. And then since my teammates are here, they can also just re-hit the enemy then, and then when we chunk them out of the fight, we can get a free tower. And if you look at how much gold this tower gives, it's a pretty interesting statistic as well to see. Tristan has 8,900. And now she has 200 more. And I got like 200. Like we all got like this amount of gold. Like look at this. I got 200. I got 150. 150. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So then with this, let's call it pressure, we can also just herald this. I would like to just take an inhib. If I take an inhib, I'm fisting. This basically guarantees we take the inhib. I didn't actually get where Akali went because I couldn't see her shroud. Because her shroud here was really hard to see. I didn't understand, like did she end up on the other side of the wall somehow? So confused. But yeah, they one-shot my Nami. Sure. But they die for it, which makes it not even good at all. They lose this inhib, my Kai'Sa was pushing out. I don't know why my Kai'Sa was split pushing, but I mean, she got a lot of value from this in the end. Yeah, like at some point she could have come if she wanted to, but it's fine as well. She got 600 here and then this. And this inhib, and at this point the game is basically over. Like if we look at the gold, right? Like 3,000 full item, almost 4,000, more than item. 3,000 full item, 1,000. I mean, their MF somehow. Oh wait, oh I was compared like this. There is Zoe somehow ahead of my Nami. I guess from kills, but okay, this guy's 2,000 gold. Okay, still same thing. Also, I don't know why, but this guy decided like he really wanted to go AP, which I really didn't appreciate, but it's fine. Yeah, then we just go for dragon. And then, I mean, I told my team in the base, what I want to do right now is base, dragon, hero, base, dragon, baron. But my team didn't listen to me for some reason and just ran there. It's not really efficient because if we look at when they end up on the dragon and when I end up on the dragon, I don't know. I don't think these extra few seconds here are really worth it, because the 2,000 gold is quite decent. You could argue that they could get some vision down while they leave here, but really the only ward I think they place is this one, and I don't think anyone really cares about that ward, I'll be honest with you. You could say they cleared some vision, which they maybe did, but I mean, enemy is not contesting. If they contest, they will just all die. Let's just be honest here. It's just not happening. So yeah. Khazix in his home bushes, he feels safe there. Gets chunked. Okay, I get chunked. That means Baron. Very simple, very easy. No real problems. Now we can go either mid and try to end, or we can go top lane and take these towers. I think the best thing is for us to go with a few people into the top lane, so that we take these towers, and then I can look for picks in mid. That is what we do. I don't know if I find the pick. Probably not. I chunk them though again, so they can't play again. So, inhib's just taken. That's another thing you can do with Evelynn, by the way. You can just chunk people. You don't really need to kill them. If you just chunk the enemy and commit nothing, right? Like, you just get the enemy to like 50% HP or 30% or something, and you don't use your ult yourself, right? Okay, but you take 0 risk for that, right? Okay, now you just go back into stealth, and what happens? Nothing, right? Enemy just needs to heal. You, all the damage you took, you will heal off anyway, right? Because of this passive. Like, I'm going back to almost full HP every time, no matter what, so that's pretty chill. And eventually I will win the war of attrition in that way. This guy also got chunked, so literally with no one dying, of them just all getting chunked, right? Like this guy getting chunked, this guy getting chunked, and Khazix getting chunked, they can't actually defend. No one actually had to die, right? I mean, a colleague goes in, but she would go in anyway, even if they died. Now someone did die, but it doesn't actually make a big difference if she did die or if she goes back to 1 HP. Because as you can see, this guy and the Zoe actually can't play again. And the Khazix has to leave without full HP. And how can he play? He's playing solo. And now these people come up again on the map, but now this guy can't play anymore. Now they basically left 2 dead again. And then the game just ends. But what I want to say with this is that when someone gets chunked, right, like really heavily, and they have to just go straight back to base, but no one in your team gets chunked, that's basically the equivalent of someone in the enemy team dying, but having a very short death timer. Like, for example, if we look at, say, Khazix right now, right? So, he still gets to play now. Okay, now he can no longer play. So first he needs to like commit to somehow running away, getting away. Okay, Now he needs to keep getting away, right? And right now, he would already have been dead. So, okay. He does place a pink. Okay, so it's been like, okay, almost 10 seconds already. Okay, it's been 10 seconds. Now he's like healing with the base. And he's not full HP yet. But if he wanted to be full HP, it'd probably take him like 15 seconds to get back on the map, right? Or 13 or something. Which is basically the equivalent of him being dead for 13 seconds, right? And this is with him like taking this kind of a base, which is a bit interesting, right? Like normally people would run a bit further as well, so you get even more time. And if he didn't have the base healing him, the home guards, then even worse. Anyway, though, not the highest elo of games, but still a, I believe, like mid-diamond game, so should be useful for some people. I believe the Khazix was last season. I don't know, I think. Okay, so he was last season Plat 1, but I don't think he played, and the season before that he was Diamond 1. So, or actually, this is season 2022, he was Plat 1, and season 2021, he was D1. He didn't even play like last split. But yeah, probably decayed, honestly, to Plat. That's probably what happened. So, that can happen. My mid laner was Diamond 2, so yeah, I would say mid-diamond game. These people probably reach like between Diamond 4 and Diamond 1, which is what you usually get in the elo. But yeah, so you can see we didn't really need to go 20 kills, and yet the map was pretty stable. And as I'm trying to emphasize as well, like playing around lanes that are vulnerable, realizing where your team is strong or weak on the map, and making sure that you yourself are strong whenever you need to be, right, is going to make a big difference in games. And also making sure that you're actually taking I mean, people say objectives, right? But when you say objectives, it's such a broad way to say it that doesn't really make sense to people, right? I think what makes more sense to say is that you make sure that you are, whenever you do get some picks, if you're trying to solo carry especially, right? Like if you're, I don't know, 10, 20 kills and your team is all inting, right? This is really important. So you need to make sure that whenever the enemy team groups up, you know, that you are making a play somewhere else, right? You don't try to fight the group team. I mean, sometimes you can, like obviously, right? Use your own discretion, right? But I mean, use your own decision making, use your own experiences and so on, and try to figure out if you can fight it. But if you cannot fight it, make sure you're making a play somewhere else. And that play can oftentimes also be just going to a side lane, just taking a tower or two. Because if you can open up a few towers, the map instantly opens up a lot. It also gives the enemy a lot more pressure, a lot more to worry about, right? Because the worst situation you can be in is where the enemy team has every tower up, you have no towers up, you're 20 kills, and basically every like few minutes it's just, okay, it's a fight, they already took the objectives because we can't actually contest them, or we contest them the objective, but it's really, really difficult to fight. They have to mess up really hard. But okay, let's say we're fighting in our base and we win the fight, right? Nothing happens. We push out a few waves, enemies respawn again. Maybe we got a tower if we're lucky, maybe. It sounds like the worst position to be in, because it basically guarantees that the enemy team is going to catch up to you. Like even if you're 20 kills, 6 items, like your team is catching up to you, sure, right? They're farming waves, they're getting kills with her. But enemy team is also going to be 6 items. And if your team was already losing early game, right, when they were even, it's quite likely that they might lose late game as well, when everyone is 6 items. I mean, not always, obviously it can depend on champions, it can depend like what kind of players you have and so on. But generally that can happen a decent amount. Although I just realized my Kaisa was gonna go Rage Blade. Holy shit, this guy. Either way though, a pretty chill game, I suppose. So next time I hope I will have an actual live game replay work and not bug, and then I can also review it after the game, so that it gives you more of a, let's say, two-sided view, where you first like get to watch the actual game with commentary, and then you get to hear my thoughts on like the analysis of the game. Either way though, I'll see you all next time, and if you enjoyed the video, then like and subscribe. Bye bye. See ya.